Imagine you get to tell the story of your life when you're on your last day. All right, your last day is here. You get to go, everyone gather around, I'm going to tell you my story. Like, do you really want to look back and go, oh, played it safe? Let me tell you a story of how I did the bare minimum and got through life.
You can live this life here where you're going to have some highs and you're going to have some lows and you're going to have some great experiences. And sometimes it's going to be fucked. Like sometimes you're going to be like, what the fuck? This is fucked. And sometimes you're going to be on top of the world.
Well, the 2025 Robby should be better than the 24 Robby. And the 24 Robby should be better than the 2019 Robby. Okay, each and every year, you should be the better you.
So continue the momentum.
So it's like every single year you should want to make, your goal should be to make more money than the year before.
All the great things you have in your life, whatever it is, whether it's the money you have or the family you have, nothing great comes from your comfort zone. How good is this time of year?
Pressure makes diamonds.
Are you under pressure?
I think I'm always under pressure. Never stops.
You put the pressure on yourself though.
Yeah. I tend to agree with that. Could be less under pressure, that's for sure. Someone was telling me this morning, it's like, oh, I don't know how you deal with it. Like you're always so busy, got so much on. How are you doing everything?
Who was saying?
Dee was saying it to me actually this morning, but then I was doing some mentoring sessions as well. And they were like, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you do this and do this and do this. I just don't get it. I'm so busy in my own day. You're doing that plus all the other shit you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, just get it done. I prioritize. Everything can be done. You just got to make the time for it, plan for it.
And make you think, you know what I think one of the best exercises is time, what's it called? Time audit. Have you ever done one?
I haven't actually.
Oh, dude. You will be.
I'm going to do it after this.
You will be gobsmacked at how much time you still waste.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like,
oh, genuinely,
shit. Like,
I genuinely feel like that. I was speaking with my PT this morning as well. And he's like, we're ramping up training because I'm getting fucking massive. I'm going to get swole, as they say.
Hormosy.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to come on flannel. I'm going to come on stage with flannel shirts as well and shorts and singlets. That's why I'm growing my beard. You notice it's a bit longer than normal?
I didn't, but I like it.
I still got to do that. Anyway, what's the same? Oh, so he was like, getting swole. So I'm training more, 4 times a week. And he's like, oh, we could do 5 times a week. I was like, because I know it's going to be a bit too much. I go, do you know what though? Like, gun to my head. If you said you have to train 5 times a week for the next month and I will give you $10 million cash, are you going to train? You train 7.
You can train twice a day.
You train twice a day.
Yeah. So go do 75 hard.
But this is what I mean. It can be done.
Yes.
100%. All right. It can be done. It's like, oh, I'm busy tomorrow. Make some fucking time. It's 45 minutes. It's an hour.
Get up earlier.
That's it. So I always look at that small scenario with the fitness and the health and all that sort of stuff and apply it to business then and say, oh, how am I not doing that tender? I could do it. How am I not getting back to that person? I could do that. How am I doing this? And I think this is where it comes in with your time audit, where you're going, well, where am I wasting time in my day?
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to read. What? You can't spare 15 minutes a day to read.
10 pages. Get it out of the day first thing in the morning.
That's the other thing I do now, because I always train mornings, because I know by the time I get home, get the kids ready, bed, all that sort of shit, it's very, very rare occurrence that I'm going to go out and train.
Because at that point,
or even work. Sometimes I can't be fucked working. So what I end up doing, funny enough, is I go to bed early, so I'm up early, and then those 2 hours extra in the morning, I'm actually more productive working then than what I would be at 8:30 at night.
Yeah. Or you can say, I'm going to go to bed early so that I'll wake up early and train tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And then not get up.
Just stay in bed still. Just have that saddle
like I was sick.
Yeah. Absolutely. So. Yeah, lots on. It's a good time of the year. Nearly holidays as well. We shut down for 3 weeks. Are you shutting down in your business, or are you going to work through?
We work through.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, people don't.
It's quieter for you?
It's definitely quieter, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, because that's what I mean. A lot of people tend to take a few days off during that time as well.
But it's also,
because you're in construct, you've got, that construction space too. A lot of them shut down as well.
Yeah. Also though, like, it was proven a few years back that the highest screen time day of the year is Boxing Day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the second highest is New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, that makes sense.
New Year's Day, yeah. So post-Christmas and post-New Year's Eve.
Everyone's looking at what happened throughout the day.
Yeah, everyone's just spending time.
And this is what I say
rolling.
to a lot of the clients, and even for yourself, right? Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to come into Christmas. Oh, I'm going to put my account on pause, please. I'm like, no, ramp it up. Spend more.
Yeah,
Because everyone's at home. Everyone is like on their phones. That's one tension.
The other part is everyone else stops.
Everyone else stops.
Yeah.
So you ramp it up.
So all of a sudden they're only seeing you. They're like, oh, these guys are going through.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, all of a sudden you stand out because you're like the construction company who's doing stuff in the period that no one is.
Yeah.
No, these guys are still going through.
Yeah.
These guys sleep.
Yeah.
How does George get so much done?
And that's the thing, though, isn't it? So how do you get so much done? How do you get so much done? And again, I was saying it with something else. I was speaking to, I had a coaching with a session with one of my guys, and it was like, I take out at least 4 hours out of my work week to go and train, and yet I'm still more productive as a result of working less. You know, so the physical and the mental benefits of working out, I think, outweigh that time that you would be in the office. Because I used to always prioritize work. As you're like, no, I've got to work and do this tender and not train. I've got to work and do this and not train. I've got to be here. I'll train later when I feel like it.
Yeah, I think also though, another thing is when you are short for time, you just manage to get more done. Like, isn't it funny how much shit you get done before you go on holidays?
Yeah.
And you get that whole list and all of a sudden, like, the whole thing's done.
Yep. Well, Monday morning, I came into the office and I knew I had a client coming in at about 10:30, and I had to finish a tender that I was going to sit down with him because I said, hey, Monday we'll come in and have a chat. And I had to do a couple of takeoffs. Like, there was a few things I actually had to do to get my final price. And then I had to put the presentation together as well. And I was like, I just powered through it. Like 10:30, he was in the room. He was in the office ready to sit down. I had to be ready before then to put it all together to give to him and say, hey, let's do your shit. So it looked like I'd been ready for 6 months before he walked in here.
And it's still warm from the print.
It was a bit like that.
Yeah.
But I got it done and didn't make mistakes. Like, it was all above board. So yeah, pressure makes diamonds. It's amazing what you can do when you have that time frame on you, or that time constraint.
What do you reckon people do into it?
You know, I was listening to a podcast from Hormozy the other day, and he was saying exactly that. Sometimes, you know, people saying they want to scale their business. They don't necessarily need to go out and employ more people. Why don't you just work harder? Why don't you just get your team to work more efficiently or work harder and say, hey, this is your task. I know it's going to take you a week. Do it in 2 days. What's that look like? And then all of a sudden, because they know that, it's like they know they have the week, they'll take the week.
Yeah,
I think you've mentioned it before on the podcast.
I can't remember what there's a law. It's not Parkinson's.
No, that's the memory one where you can't, like Parkinson's disease, where you forget everything.
I can't remember what the law is. I don't know. I can't look it up.
It's like, it's got
The
that
law when time will take Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law, anything can go wrong, will go wrong.
The time when a task takes as long as the time allocated to it. What's the law?
Yeah.
Never find it.
You'll find it.
You know, I don't Google anymore.
What do you do? Do you Bing?
I chat GPT.
Oh, I used ChatGPT this morning, actually.
Hey, no. I go and say, hey, client will ask me something, and I'll be like, this is the best. And they'll be like, hey, I'm trying to do this on this webinar platform, but it's not working. So I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll say, how do I do this on this webinar platform? And it gives me a thing. And I'll say, can you write it so I can send it in an SMS? And it does. And I copy it.
It's actually Parkinson's law.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That was right.
So that's the thing, right? Like, you sometimes need to hire more people. It's just a matter of putting other constraints in place to get the thing done more efficiently. And that's what I reckon happened to me on Monday. Definitely. I had a deadline. I had to do it. Like, there was no ifs or buts about it. It had to be done. And yes, I was at work a little bit earlier to get it done because I knew the time it would take me, but I got it done.
Also, and we recently had an event.
Mm-hmm.
Think about when we first started doing these events. How many times did the presentation get ready at midnight the night before?
Yeah.
And it's like, how ironic that it happened to get completed just before the deadline every single time. It's like the kids' tests, right? Yeah. They don't study the whole time, or the projects or whatever it is, or an essay or whatever it might be, and you don't do anything for 2 months or however long you have it for, and then the night before you manage to cram
Study.
60 days, 45 days worth of work into 3 hours, 6 hours, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
I think people need more deadlines.
Mm.
People need more deadlines on their life.
Yeah. Well, again, I did a meeting with everyone this morning, the whole guys, and I was like, put some milestones in place that you want to achieve. One of my clients was saying how I want to win these next couple of jobs, and then I want to finish these systems, and then I'm going to put someone on in the office. I'm like, okay, that's great, but what happens when you don't finish those systems? What happens when you don't win those jobs? Okay, you're giving yourself that leeway to fail to a degree because, when I win these jobs is only when I can put someone on. When I finish all these systems is the only time I can put someone on. So put a time frame on it, right? So by March next year, you're going to have all your systems in place. Yes? Cool. So then that's one thing you can just discount now and go, cool, well, all my systems are in place. I can employ someone. The projects, cool. I'm going to win this many projects by this date. Make it happen and put the people on. Be accountable to yourself.
It's work.
Yeah. And it's also you've also got to do that work, like as in, and plan for it. I don't think it's like, you don't want to wish, like, again, I was speaking to my coach this morning. He was like, I'm going away this weekend for work. I'm going to Sydney for a few days. And he's like, well, what are you going to do whilst you're there? What are your goals? He goes,
Your PT?
yeah, PT.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you're going to go there, don't have a goal of just not eating shit. Okay.
Yeah, be like,
Because that's not a goal. That's right.
Something.
Because that's not a plan. Because you're not executing a plan. You're just saying, I'm just not going to eat shit. He goes, okay, so why don't you go there and say, well, cool, I'm going to eat high protein foods, right? So I'm going to have meat with every meal. I'm going to go and do 10,000 steps at least. I'm going to go for whatever, a workout at the gym at the hotel. So actually have a plan to execute that goal, I think is really important, because when you don't have that, then again, you're sort of setting yourself up for failure, but also you're giving yourself permission to fail. And that's where people don't hold themselves accountable. And it's kind of good to have a coach in that instance as well, because they can pull you up on that shit.
And also, it gives them you said permission to fail, but also the permission to say, but I can still do it.
Yeah.
Because they haven't set like a deadline.
That's right. Oh, I've got to do that next week. It's all right.
Yeah, I can still do it. I can still do it now.
Yeah, like last episode or a couple of episodes ago, we spoke and I didn't get my six pack by my birthday. I think that was an excuse. I could have done it. Could have done it. If you saved it, George, six pack by your birthday, $10 million. Okay. Six pack by your birthday, or I'm going to take one of your kids. Okay. We'll get you 8. So like it's what's associated with that and what's connected to that too, and how disciplined you are to follow it. I have all excuses.
A few people reached out to me after that episode.
Yeah.
And they're like, what was the goal you were talking about?
Well, for you, I did. Yeah.
They're like, what was the goal you were talking about? And I'm like, get out of here, man.
Yeah. It was a technology.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm going to tell you off air?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it. I'll talk about it on air and share it with everyone.
That's right. Very cool. There was something I was going to say with that.
Goals. Have you done your 2025 planning?
No, not yet. Not yet. I reckon I'm going to probably do that in December, like after the second week off, thereabouts, somewhere there. I've got a few that I'm thinking of that I want to have for next year.
Yeah.
Well, next year is going to be an interesting year for me because it's the first year with a general manager in place at my construction company. So professionally, it's going to be a bit of a learning curve as well.
Yeah.
I want to try and go on a few overseas trips as well next year. A couple with a family, one with yourself.
Me?
Yeah.
Where we go? US? 10X conference?
GC. Dude, we're on stage.
I'll book it right now, live on the podcast.
I will book Didn't GC call you to come and present?
Not yet.
Has he? Okay.
Missed
I'll tell him we're going.
But we'll go.
How good would it be if we go on stage?
You'll hold the fort down.
Iggy's coming.
He's coming?
He's got to record the trip.
That would be.
How sick would
you go?
be? Would you come?
Have you heard Iggy's staying in Melbourne?
Cool.
He doesn't know yet.
Ask him. Iggy, if you stay in Melbourne, I'll get you a ticket to come to America.
Way.
I'm actually not a big fan of America.
No, that's right. You'll be right.
If I'm going to Mongolia.
Can I come?
Unless someone buys me a ticket to America, and then I'll stay. Tried. Didn't work.
Have you been to Vegas before?
No, never been to America.
Dude, I'll book today. Stop fucking around. Okay? I will book it. We'll go to the 10X conference. We'll go to Hormozi's thing, and we'll go to the UFC. All three are in the same
Is it on at that time? Is there a UFC on?
UFC on every week.
Oh, but just not the main events. Just don't know.
Oh yeah, might not be a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll stay for the pay-per-view. But yeah, I just want to go, and that would be sick.
It's fucking cool, dude. It was a cool experience when I went in 2019.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but these are the things I want to do outside of work. But in order to do that, I've got to get shit pumping here as well.
Of course. You can't just let the ship sink.
Do you ever look at it? I'm in a position now where I'm trying to take on an excess amount of work. Have you been in that position, or do you see issues with that?
What do you mean by excess?
So comes early next year, I'll be almost at capacity, I reckon, early next year with the work that we're going to have moving forward.
When you say capacity, in the sense of
in the sense of my insurance cover, let's say, not so much in the ability to do the work.
Yeah.
It's more in the capacity from that perspective. So I'll be able to do it. I've got avenues to get more work done. All right. But a lot of people, because I was in this issue a few years back where I won all this work and then I took the foot off the accelerator, and I don't want to do that ever again.
Yeah.
I've learned from that mistake.
100%.
You know what I mean? So now
it's comfort.
Yeah, it was. But it's also, I was kind of hype. It was all that shit. Like I was like, oh, how good am I? Everyone's cheering me on. You know, saying you're the best. I'm like, yeah, I am the best. Cool. This is great.
Yeah, you buy into the...
Yeah. And foot came off the accelerator. Oh, I got work for the next year. What do I need to go look for work for? I'll look for work at the end of the year. And
Because mistake people make, right? Yeah. I've done it too. Like you get comfortable, and then your business does this, right? It goes up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's like it's a vicious cycle. Because then people, and this happens to me being in the marketing space, where people come to me and they're like, "I need leads.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, we got no work next month," and you're like, "Dude,
should have come to me
6 months ago. Like this is not how. Now you come with a sense of desperation."
You'll take on anything.
You'll take on anything.
It
becomes harder to get, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it comes across in the way you speak over the phone, in the way you sell, in everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You show too much emotion. Like you're too emotionally tied in because you took the foot off the pedal at the wrong time instead of steadily. And it's not to say you need to be flat footed the whole time either, but you should have a steady pace continuously.
Yep. Well, that's the other thing that I'll look at doing again with you next year, which we'll talk about. But just again, being at capacity and running ads to do more work.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the game. Like, how do we grow it? How do we go to $50 million in turnover? And I was looking at a couple of jobs, for example. So I don't normally build apartments. We do have an apartment job, a couple of apartment jobs actually, but it's not the space that I'm in. You know, it's not the type of target market that I'm looking at. But I've recently had two other apartment projects come across my lap. 3, actually. I take that back, 3. There was one that was a decent size. It was probably a $13 million job. And when it came across my lap, like, this was my job to refuse. Do you know what I mean? And it came across my lap, and the guy, because I know the developer quite well, and he goes, "Look, you want this job, I'll get it for you." I said, "Cool, let me have a look at it." And it's a bigger job, and I'm like, do I really want to get into that space? That was my initial thought of doing this job. And then there was another thought that came, was like, oi, stop fucking around. Why not?
Yeah, why would you not?
Why not do it? Why not go in and take that project on? And but then it's like, is it the excuses that come into play? Is it, oh, I don't want industrial relation issues. I can't be fucked dealing with unions. Is it that? And it's like, oh, it's a big job. Oh, what if something goes wrong?
Let me ask you a question. If you didn't have any work,
would I take it on?
Yeah.
Perhaps. No, I don't know. Again.
So
is it, but then I'll ask the other question. Am I moving away from my niche? Because it is a bit more of a...
Yeah, but see, niche is inward. This is what I teach people. So niche is inward looking out, right? So when we do marketing, messaging, etc., that's where your niche matters.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, just because you specialize as this, it doesn't mean, and you know, legacy media, we position ourselves as specializing into construction space, and predominantly most of our clients are in that space.
Yeah.
But when a real estate agent comes to me and says, "Hey, can you do this?" I don't say,
"Oh, no, we just do
construction." Yeah, cool, man, we can make it work.
Yeah.
We had someone in the hospitality space come up to us and ask us some questions. We went and did a video for them. Like, it's not to say, now when I do marketing, I don't turn around and say, hey, we're a construction and hospitality place. Go. We still understand what our messaging is, but that's not to say that we can't take the skills and put them in different places. Now, will it overall affect your brand if every single Pascon job out there was all apartments? A bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case for you now, is it?
No, it's not. And also the other thing is I don't have the team to deliver that job at the moment. Right. But that doesn't faze me. It's win the jobs, sort it out after, like the problem. I don't see that as the problem.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things I'll consider too, because it's important to have someone that knows exactly what they're doing on a job like that, being a bigger scale project. And anyway, so there's been a couple of jobs like that have come across my way, some smaller apartment jobs. So when I say smaller, say 3 to 5 mil. And again, I'm looking at it, do I take these jobs on? Do I take them on? Do I take them on? Do I do those types of projects? Do I step and venture out into that world?
Why wouldn't you? In my opinion.
Like
why?
They are more, okay, so a few things. This is what I think about these projects as well. I know most of the time that there are builders out there that will do them significantly cheaper than me, first of all. So I'll look at doing a job, but I'll suss out the owner quite early on in the process and say, listen, this is my price.
Yeah.
Don't negotiate. This is my price. You want to go shopping? Good for you. Go. And I don't want to spend, like, to price a job like that up might take 4 to 6 weeks. So I don't want to invest all that time, give them a solid tender, and then they go somewhere else because they're cheaper, 150, 200 grand, 300 grand cheaper, which is likely to be the case in most of these instances. Because a lot of those builders that are in that space, they work on fuck all margin. And I look at that and I'm just like, dude, I make so much more on the other projects too. So I take that into consideration.
So if it doesn't fit,
that's probably the other thing too. So I look at it there, but then it's like, fuck it, do you just make it happen?
Nah, see,
you know what I mean?
Okay, that's a different aspect. Like, so if I
not to make money, I'm saying, because you can always make money on these jobs. All right, there's more than one way to skin a cat in construction. Like we can build smart,
yeah, I know,
without dropping quality with all this sort of stuff to get things to go through and for it to stack up.
So if I take what you're saying and flip it onto what we do, we get people coming up to us saying, how much is a video? And we're like, this video is $1,000, for example. And they're like, $1,000. Someone does that same video for me for 300.
Yeah.
And I say, that's cool, go to that person.
Yeah.
We can't do that for them.
And that's what I look at it as well.
And that happens. And some people go, and then some people say, why is it more? And we show them the quality, and then they give us a shot. And
they get
maybe 9 times out of 10, they stay on.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, okay. I had a video we just did, and we and he goes, how much? And it's like $1,000. And he's like, $1,000, this guy charges me so and so, whatever. And I'm like, dude, it's a whole different level. We're a full agency. We've got a proper team, blah, blah, blah. We use great gear. And he came, he used us. And the video went on Instagram 15 hours ago. It's already surpassed every single video on his page
he's ever made. Yeah.
In 15 hours, it's passed every other video. And he's like, yeah, I see the quality. I get it. I'm only using you guys from now on. I think there is an element of, if that's your game, you need to factor that in as well.
That's the game in...
If you think you're going to lose the job for not dropping.
Yeah, and that's the game in the luxury market space. So which is where we're predominantly playing at the moment, in the sense we're doing the higher end projects. And that's the game there, because people there want to spend the money. The thing with apartments, there are often commercial decisions as to why they get built. Yeah, they're like, they've got 10 apartments.
I've got this much to spend, this is the budget.
This is what they're going to sell for. I know what they're going to sell for, as in they know what they're going to sell for.
It's a net.
That's right, X amount of dollars. And if construction comes in here, then it doesn't stack and we can't build it. And there's too many builders out there that'll go, yeah, we'll do it. 5%. Oh, all right, I'll do it for that much. Like, dude, 5%, what the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah. What is wrong with you?
You just got to let them have it.
And I do. But nonetheless, there's still heaps of opportunities out there and heaps of work. And it's now at that point where I'm starting to overbook. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a fortunate place to be in, because I'm not going to make a bad decision when I overbook. If we're going to do a job, we're going to make money on it.
Of course. Yeah. And then you get options, right?
Yeah. And then you can pick and choose. And that's what it is at the moment.
We're booked out for a start. And secondly, this is our price.
Yeah.
And if I lose the job, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I've got the next 12 months full, 18 months full.
That's right. And that's exactly where I'm finding myself at the moment.
I think I find a lot of builders as well, though, they use the insurance thing as but we can't do it. Like, we can't build anymore now. Like, you know what I mean? Well, what's the point of keeping marketing? Like, we can't take on any more work.
Yeah.
And it's
Because you get that sometimes, don't you?
yeah, we get it. And then it's like, work it out, dude. Like, how are you letting this stop you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Work it out. And then the whole thing, everyone is, but we can't, but the insurance won't up our cap until we have more work. I'm like, so you can't up your thing without getting more work, but you can't get more work because you can't up your thing.
Yeah.
Like, chicken or the egg, dude. Do you know what I mean? Are you the problem or is it the problem? Get out of your own fucking way.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Everyone, dude, so many times I've had that conversation.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do the insurance, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, just work it out.
Just work it out.
Work it out. You know?
But again, it's like they haven't gone through that pain and that experience, which is maybe why they don't do it.
What pain and experience?
As in, they haven't been through that pain where perhaps they haven't like been punched in the face in that regard. So that's why they go, oh, cool, we're comfortable. You know, we've got enough work. We'll do this much work. Or, you know, I don't want to employ more people. I'll just do it myself. I can do this much work myself. I'm happy doing that. So if I employ more people, then I've got to go get more work. I had an employee the other day. We had a team meeting and he was sitting here and I was saying all the projects that we've got coming up and that we're doing. And he goes, oh, well, what happens when we don't have that much work? I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, you know, it's great that you're doing this and you've got this project and this project, but you're now playing at this game, at this level up here. He goes, what happens when you drop down a couple of levels? I said, well, it's very simple. I go, you'll all be fired.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, don't.
but the intent, I'm not coming up here just so I can go up there and be there for 2 months or a year and then go, bang, let's drop back down here again. The intent is to be there and then the next year to be there and then the next year to be there
You raise the bar
every single time.
year on year on year.
And you said this in a previous podcast too. It's like every single year you should want to make, your goal should be to make more money than the year before.
100%.
And I said this today to someone and it's like, okay, you should be, so the 2024 Robby or the 2025 Robby should be better than the 24 Robby. And the 24 Robby should be better than the 2019 Robby. Okay. Each and every year you should be the better you. So I really focus on that a lot now, you know, with my business and with my life. Well, cool. I feel that this year's been a really powerful year for me, personally and professionally. And I'm like, oh, I'm in a really good space. What does next year look like? If I feel like pumped as where I'm at right now, wow, imagine next year what that's going to bring.
So continue the momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Having that, I think that's a powerful thought that what's the next year? If I'm going to be better next year, what does that look like?
Yeah. How do I top it?
Yeah.
And
I think you're going to have to challenge yourself if that's going to be the case, don't you?
yeah, well, nothing
It's a no-brainer.
nothing great comes from your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Think about it.
So true.
Like, nothing great really comes from your comfort zone at all. All the great things you have in your life, whatever it is, whether it's the money you have or the family you have or the relationships you have, all came from you at some point doing something that was once uncomfortable to you.
There's always risk associated with everything. There's always that level that you need to just do something different from everyone else.
You know what word I hate?
Obligation.
No.
That.
You hate that word.
I know you do. That's why I said it. So I'm correct.
You're right. Yeah,
So
you're right. It's just not the word I was thinking. Yeah, it's just not the word I was thinking. But I do hate that word. You know why? I hate that word?
Please
Because
don't.
there's a negative connotation. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, every time I've felt obliged to do something, which is the term of doing what's obligated, what you're obligated to do.
You have to do it.
Yeah, it's like
You
you
need
fucking
to do
have
this.
to do this thing.
Yeah.
It's like a negative, you know what I mean? Oh, but I had to go there. Oh, but it's not like I just don't have a positive association to it.
Yep. Do you think it can be though? And other people, like
I think
in a coaching world, would you use it?
I think
You know what I mean? People would use that, and I've done it in the past as well. So
Yeah, but I think,
doing it in obligation to give back to a degree.
yeah, I think
Some people like, I'm obligated to my family. Like I'm obligated to do this. So, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It does mean that you have to do it.
it does, yeah. Because then you're like, now I'm obligated.
Yeah,
now.
I'm not doing it because out of joy.
Like, yeah, it's
I'm not doing it out of want.
I understand how people normally mean it.
Yeah,
Like in this, it's like a duty thing.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And I get that. And I relate duty. I don't have a negative context.
yeah. So very similar word though, isn't it?
In some contexts, yeah.
GC says it. Success is your duty.
Yeah, and I don't have. I think he's right. I think I agree. I don't feel like
All right, success is your obligation.
yeah. See, that bothers me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna quit. Going back, I don't hate the word. I do hate that word, but I hate another word, and it's mediocrity. Fuck, that word bothers me so much, dude.
Yeah.
Like any time the thought of, just fitting in this year makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, it annoys me as well. I get agitated and annoyed by it.
Yeah.
And
Can't you just be normal?
yeah,
I was like, fuck would you? Who woke up this morning and said,
Yeah.
"Oh, hopefully today's a normal day,"
yeah.
and they were pumped about it.
Yeah. Someone told me this the other day as well, and I just looked at it and it's like, she goes, fucking everyone's like that. I'm like, what? So why would I want to be like that? Do you know what I mean? Like they'll try. I was explaining something and saying, hey, this is what I want. This is where I think the trajectory of my life's going to go, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, just fucking, she goes, don't, George, everyone's like that. Just relax. That's exactly why I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? Every single person's doing the same fucking thing. So, don't like that word either. Don't fit in.
Don't fit in. The other thing you have to do to have a better year on year.
Off topic.
Yeah.
Do you realize we don't go sideways as much anymore?
I don't know, man. I said a word then, and then we just spoke about obligation for like 7 minutes.
No, but it was still in like, what are you fucking laughing at, mate?
Tricky.
But it's still in the context of the conversation that we're
That has nothing to do with anything we're talking about. It was like a completely different word. But yeah, no, you're right.
You're right.
I didn't just do it then either.
No.
But keep going.
I felt like we used to do it a lot at the early days of this podcast. We used to go sideways a lot.
We're professionals now.
Well, 56 episodes in, one would think.
This is 58.
Is it?
50.
Are you sure?
I don't know, something.
Oh, no, you're right.
Crack a-
Yeah. Yes. Cool.
We're about to crack a 6. This might be 60. No, it's 59. I think it's 59.
Did you hear the federal government? So they're releasing, or they're looking to pass a bill where you have to be 16 years or over to be on social media. Have you heard that yet?
Yes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
That's one part of it.
Yeah.
And the other part is that they can control what is seen.
Who? From the younger kids and whatnot?
No, everything.
I don't understand what you mean.
As
Who's
in
they?
The government.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I haven't dug deep into it, but from my understanding, it is that they have full control on what they will allow and not allow to be posted. Meaning if they don't want something to be advertised anywhere,
Yeah.
they have full control and the right to refuse, or right of refusal.
Well, they're forcing Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those platforms to now put things in place, or they want to if it gets passed, to say that you need to put measures in place to stop 16-year-olds or anyone under 16.
How are they going to do that?
Well, it's a tick box, effectively.
What's your date of birth?
Yeah, exactly. So there's no real way of actually stopping it, in my opinion, when it comes to that. So that's the first thing. Second of all, this is going to cost a fortune. I don't even know the numbers, but I guarantee you this whole process of them trying to make these companies and organizations and everything, it's probably costing millions of dollars just to bring it up in Parliament. Okay?
Yeah.
I think they are being reactive instead of really focusing on the issue.
I'm going to bring it up so we can get the exact.
Yeah.
So,
No.
you know what it's called?
What the bill's called? No, it's just, you could probably just, what?
Australian.
A 16-year-old's restricted on social media. But I think this is just a stereotypical government reaction to a problem where it's let's just go and put a Band-Aid over this or try and put some rules or red tape and bureaucracy in the way to seem like we're trying to make a difference and help kids. Because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to say, we're trying to protect children from content that they shouldn't see and also from bullying, harassment, all that sort of shit. Which if someone said to you, would you be in favor for rules and procedures in place to protect children and stop bullying? You would say yes. But the way they're going about it, I don't think works. I think it's just, we told you, we've put a tick box here, so we're a responsible government. What I think they need to do to make this issue better is probably invest money in education and actually go and help build some, say, either self-esteem into the kids.
So I'm actually referring to a different thing.
Oh, were you?
What you were, yeah.
Yeah.
But so this one's just about kids.
Yeah, well, under 16 years old.
Yeah.
Saying they're banned from using social media, yeah. Or not allowed to be on the platform as a 16-year-old,
Even
under 16-year-old.
Even if the parents...
Yeah, even if the parents approve it. And it's also, they're even going as far as YouTube and saying, no, you can't even watch YouTube if you're under 16 because all these things that'll come up and you'll see. I've also heard elsewhere that it's not so much them being 16, but they probably need to look at targeting the algorithm of what's being fed to them. If that can be influenced in any way, I'm not too sure by those companies.
Yeah, well, so YouTube does that. There's YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
So YouTube says, like, when you upload a video, when this gets uploaded on YouTube, there's a tick box that says it was for children.
Yeah.
No, we say yes. 100%. It doesn't. It picked up that we're swearing, like, this is age restricted material.
Yeah. But we say, we want to change their life.
Yeah.
They were start young.
We're trying to help the kids. But yeah, I actually wasn't. So do you think it's a good thing, bad thing?
I don't think it's the right thing. I'm happy to have things in place that protect children from certain things in social media, but I also feel like it's them just trying to pass the buck to Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and all those sorts of guys and say, hey guys, sort this out, you're being irresponsible. Whereas I think the money would be better spent in them educating children from a school perspective and saying, cool, well, how do you deal with harassment on social media? How do you deal with if you come across something that's controversial, that upsets you, that isn't something you should be watching? A whole range of things that come with that.
Okay,
so I reckon if you can build that understanding in the platform and how they all work and operate, or if there's a way to change the algorithm so that they're not fed adult content, if you know what I mean.
But what's the problem?
The problem?
Yeah.
Their problem, I believe, is that they're saying kids are getting fed the narrative. They're getting fed adult. When I say adult, I don't mean like violence, pornography. I don't mean anything like that. They're just getting fed adult content and they're not ready to consume that content from a maturity point of view.
Which is causing what? Yeah.
Yeah, depression and social anxiety. The figures might say, I'm guessing now, yeah? I'm just talking out loud, knowing how they would be thinking. And I just think it's a political ploy more than anything to show, look at us, we care about your kids, we want votes, vote for us. But I just don't reckon it's the way to solve the problem, if that problem really does exist.
I agree. I think it's the whole zoo animals thing, right? Like
that work.
If you raise zoo animals, as soon as they go into the wild, they die.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? If you raise children in a protected environment, as soon as they go out and face the real world, they get eaten up alive.
And then on their 16th birthday, they've never been exposed to anything ever before.
Yeah,
and they've been protected, that's right.
Protected the whole time. And it's like, let them learn how to deal with life.
That's the best fucking analogy in this scenario.
Yeah.
So because they're going to go, let's just say they're successful and they somehow ban children from all under 16-year-olds from having a social media, which they can't, which they won't do. All right, because I promise you, if there's a 14, 15-year-old kid, are you 16 years old? Just say it. All right, and there's going to be parents that don't give a fuck either. All right. But regardless, let's just say they somehow find a way to make sure that you are 16 years and over. And then you're right. They go, cool, I'm now 16. Bang, here you go. Here's all the violence. Here's all the pornography. Here's all the shit that you weren't meant to see. Now deal with it mentally. Oh, well, you're a 16-year-old. You should be okay. 100%. I think that's a really good analogy.
Are your kids on social media?
No, they're way too young. Oh, sorry. Well, I mean, they watch YouTube. Yeah. I think like YouTube Kids and stuff like that, like children's stuff on YouTube. Yeah. But my son will watch reels and stuff like that, but around things he is interested in, gaming and some of the influencers that are out there, those kid influencers and shit like that.
Yeah, there's so much.
Mr. Beast videos. But I'm sure he would come across adult stuff too and swear. Like from time to time, I've heard swearing on YouTube video he's watching, right? So it'll say fuck or it'll say shit or whatever it is, and then we'll look at him and then he'll sort of flick it over. I'm not really that protective around swearing with my kids. Like I've sworn in front of them, but I also made it.
Any particular words?
I'll say fuck, 100%. Yeah, I've said it to him. I've said it to myself. I say, "Oh, don't fuck around." Yeah. And he starts laughing. He's like, "Ooh, funk." But I explain it to him though. It's like, hey, just because you hear me swearing or an adult swearing doesn't make it okay for you to swear.
Have you? So you don't let the kids swear?
No. If he swears, within context. Do you know what I mean? If he said it to someone or to me or to the mum or to his mum,
of course.
Hey, fuck you. Like, cool, dude. You want to play this game? You will play this game. But if he's I don't know, playing basketball and he misses a shot and he's like, fuck. I'm like, cool, just get back up there, do it again. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't stress too much about that.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I just, as long as it's respectful, like I would never say don't swear at someone in a disrespectful manner. But if you're swearing,
do you reckon other parents get offended?
100%. 100%.
Isn't it funny? Like his face made a sound and now you're upset.
It's so true.
I mean, that's what happened. His face made a sound and now you're like, I'm offended. And it's like,
think about what
their noise.
They're words. They are words that you have put meaning behind.
Yeah.
Which is why it makes you feel so. And
a word said is a sound.
Yeah. Okay. If I say, all right, fuck you. Okay.
Me?
Yeah. Fuck you. Offended. All right. Offended. 100%. I said, but I miss this.
Still offended.
But does it mean anything to you?
Means I don't understand Greek.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean anything. I still say,
how you say,
I said the same thing to you, but in a different language. But because you have no meaning to what that means, it's like, oh, I'm not offended by that. Doesn't mean anything. Well, hang on. Fuck you was the same thing.
People are funny, man.
But
yeah, I heard someone share that the other day. They're like, his face made a sound. And I was like, that is so true. Like, that's what happened. His face made a sound. And now you're like, and it's like, but yeah, long story short, two things. One, I don't think the overprotection, I'm not a parent.
Yeah.
I'll preface everything I say by that, but I don't think the overprotection of kids serves the kids. I think that we look at life and we see that it's usually the people that have faced some level of adversity that tend to be successful in the real world. And I think protecting your kids from every single thing and not allowing them to build that muscle.
Joe Rogan said that too. He goes, like in the history of his podcast, he's obviously interviewed some pretty successful and high ticket people. And he goes, one of the most fucked up things I've noticed is that a lot of the people that have achieved that super success and that super wealth have really come from difficult places as well. So a level of adversity, a level of challenge or whatever it might be. Yeah. He goes, like those really successful guys, he goes, there's not that many that were given a silver spoon and had an easy life and then made billions of dollars and dollars after that. Yeah, I'm sure there are. And that's what he was saying. He goes, the vast majority. There are some there because I've noticed that the people that were drugged, that were fucking once druggies, fucking had needles out of their arms or being abused by their parents or whatever, something bad's happened to them. They were homeless for 10 years, living on the streets, and are now multi-billionaires. Yeah, and they hit rock bottom. That was their rock bottom. Wouldn't go any lower than that. So anything more than that was always a bonus, and it's just like they ended up hitting the stars.
Isn't that what life's all about? Like in the sense of, isn't it just an emotional roller coaster and then you're going to be gone?
Man, it's a ride. I heard that it's like life is a whole bunch of nothing, right? Absolutely nothing. Dust. Yeah. Universe, cosmos, atoms. There's nothing that exists. Then there's you, your little existence, slice of existence. And there's a whole lot of nothing again.
You know what I mean? Yeah, before and after.
It's like nothing and nothing. And then it's like you.
Yeah, and it's like,
I like to look at it as a story and as an adventure, right? Imagine you get to tell the story of your life when you're on your last day. All right, your last day is here. You get to go, everyone gather around. I'm going to tell you my story. Like, do you really want to look back and go, oh, played it safe? Let me tell you a story of how I did the bare minimum and got through life.
yeah,
Nothing happened to me. Nothing.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I worked 9 to 5 for 30 years. I went on a couple of holidays. Not far, obviously. Went to like New Zealand because it was the most like Australia.
Yeah. Or I went
to Bali because it was Pete. Yeah, I went to Hamilton Island once and caught a boat there.
Someone says that. Someone says whenever you're in a tough spot, just think this is gonna be a sick part of the story.
Sick story.
Yeah, this is a great part of the story.
Yeah.
To tell. And when I sit there and say like, I was free. I didn't know I was gonna pay my rent. Yeah. I don't know, like whatever it might be. Zero finance or this. So yeah, we went through that, and I was struggling here.
I had my last $100, and I went in here. Exactly. And but whatever it is, like you fucking lived it. You know what I mean? You took the risk. You went out. You did these things. You didn't fuck around.
So listen, you say we don't sidetrack. Listen,
we don't. So we had to today.
Listen to this. This is how I picture life. Okay, I see it as life's a straight line, and most people live pretty fucking close to that line. Do you know what I mean? They don't do anything overly exciting, but they also don't experience much adversity.
Yeah.
Right?
The line is safe.
Yeah, the line is safe, and they experience it as close to as possible. But here's the thing: when you go one way, it opens up the same amount the other way. That's how I picture it. Like if you want to make $1 billion, if you lost all that, you would be rock bottom. Like that would be very hard to go from having billions of dollars to nothing. That person is now below the line because they've experienced a different life. If you've lived all the way below the line, you've now got the muscle to be able to, do you know what I mean? And you can go up and down. And one of the people that I think that has experienced this the most, that's alive now, is Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? That guy has experienced the lows of low. Like he's experienced some pretty like drugs, lost his daughter, when she was at like
4 years old.
Yeah. But also at one point was the baddest man on the planet, making hundreds of millions of dollars, had tigers and, do you know what I mean? Like he's experienced life on the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. And if they said to you, hey man, imagine I'm God and I'm like, hey George, so we're going to put you into life, you're going to live till 100. Now you can live this life here where you're going to have some highs and you're going to have some lows, but you're going to have some great experiences. And sometimes it's going to be fucked. Like sometimes you're going to be like, what the fuck, this is fucked. And sometimes you're going to be on top of the world. Or you can live this life here where it's just going to be kind of stable and mediocre the whole time. And you're not going to experience great things, but you're also not going to experience that much adversity.
Yeah.
At the end, you're going to die and you're going to come back here.
Yeah.
Which one are you picking? Do you know what I mean? Do you want to play the fun game or do you want to play the fucking boring game? Do you want to watch the good movie or do you want to watch the bad movie?
Yeah.
Do you want to read the good book or do you want to read the book that's boring? And imagine reading a book or watching a movie where it's like this guy was born and he had everything he wanted and then he went and did the thing and everything went well
it's like mission possible.
It does sound like leverage trading with your life.
Leverage trading with your life?
Yes. So you can do leverage trading in stocks. It has high risk, high reward.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's like high risk, high reward. But it's like, someone shared with me a video the other day of Dana White, big fan, we'll get him on the pod, saying, and guess what? If you go and you take that risk, you can probably go back to what you're fucking doing now if it doesn't work. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's life. Like, go take it. Your shitty job, probably going to be there when you get back if you fail.
Hey, I just had a random thought. We should take the podcast up when we go to the States.
All right.
Okay. Done. We should take the podcast up and then maybe we'll find someone interesting. Say, oi, let's do our podcast. We're going to go film a couple episodes.
100%. Or just get a studio.
Or just get GC.
Yeah.
Jump on.
Dude,
we'll see you there.
That is 100%. And just, I'll start messaging my phone. Start DMing people right now and just say, hey,
We're in the area.
we're in the area in March. Get on the pod.
Yeah.
Let's go book a studio. Here's people do it.
I dig it.
How's that for sideways?
Good.
Yeah.
Been a while.
What were we talking about before that? How did we get on to Mike Tyson?
Oh, just life. You said ups and downs, and he's
Before that?
experienced some significant ones.
Yeah, dude, him and another person, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Except, yeah, Donald Trump's experienced some significant. Like, dude, they were trying to take him down. I don't think there's anyone who's had a worse media press. Like, they went after him.
What do you reckon the feeling is around him now, though?
I reckon they love him now.
Yeah,
but I
wasn't it?
think that's the thing. They went after him.
Yeah, shouldn't work. And now he's the most.
So yeah, so you get my
Well, I mean, even leverage. I keep watching, and it could be the narrative that the algorithm is feeding me what I want to see. What I want to see. Do you know what I mean? He's seeing stuff like his positive influence that he's had, and he's not even in power yet. And how many people are coming out and saying these things, and organizations are changing their ways, and other global leaders are going, yes, we can't wait to work with Trump. Well, I heard something like the Taliban were saying we want to get taken off the terrorist list. Like, how do we work with America and Trump? And you know what I mean? All this just random shit. Just because he's about to come into power, because his hand hovers like this. He's like, don't fuck around. I'll press the button, don't fuck around.
yeah, he's a powerful dude. But they went after him.
Yeah.
You think about what he went.
Unless a person would have broken down or given up, walked
Guaranteed.
away.
But it's like he experienced the adversity and he did not stop. And he
Great
did
story, man.
not stop.
You know, when he came into power the first time round, I thought it was comical.
But he was able. Actually,
I thought it was comical in the sense that, like, he's always been a personality and a TV, like a celebrity type person. He hasn't been, you never thought of him as a political leader. You saw him as...
he wasn't a political leader.
He wasn't?
No, that's what I mean.
That's what I mean.
His first role of the dice in politics was that. That's what I just saw him as a businessman.
Yeah, but he was a very famous businessman in the sense he had The Apprentice. Like, he was...
I didn't know about The Apprentice.
I'd seen it a few times. I never watched it in great depth, but point being is everyone knew who Donald Trump was, because not so much because of his business acumen, but also, you know, he just did funny, like he was on WWE. You know what I mean? He was a character. Yeah, there was a story.
Yeah, he was.
There was a storyline of him and Vince McMahon. Have you seen the Vince McMahon doco? Should watch it.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
Nah, I've seen it there. I've never...
Watch it. It's worth watching.
He's a rapist and stuff.
Accused. Allegedly, yeah. So nothing been proven, but I don't know. It's true. But anyway, it's worth watching. And one of the stories on there was about him, like billionaire versus billionaire, Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump, you know, and the loser had to shave their head. And Vince McMahon ended up shaving his head, obviously. But like he was that sort of a person, do you know what I mean? And then to think of him running for president, you're like, how is this clown running for president? That's early days. But now I don't see him like that anymore. I think of him, when I see him, I think you're fucking...
Yeah, he's also had some really good endorsements. But also, I just look at him as, someone I spoke to, I always ask this question. I don't know if I've ever asked you, but if you could have dinner with one person in the whole world, who would it be?
Just one?
Yeah.
Just
Your
one.
mom.
No. No, not yet. I can do that anytime.
Yeah. You should do that.
There's a few.
Here you go, Iggy.
Your mom.
Should be dinner.
It'd be amazing.
Should be.
Traditional Lebanese food.
Surely.
I mean, there's a few people.
Yeah, but who
I'd
would
like
be?
to. I don't know. It's hard.
It's a very tough question. I used to say, Tony Robbins. I don't say that anymore. But I think it's a great question because it shows who, because you think like, whose time do you want? I don't know, who'd you love to hang around for a couple hours? I'd probably do like a Hormozy or something.
I'm just thinking, I was going to go down the path of, look, I tell the few that I'll think.
GC would be annoying.
Really? I don't think so.
Sorry, it'd be annoying. I'd be like, come on, man, eat faster, man.
No. See, it's like, I don't think he would be one. I don't think he would be like that one-on-one.
You know what I mean?
No, I really don't.
Oh, no, I think I really naturally like that dude.
You know, there was
I don't think that's not an act. I think he's a full-on guy. Like he's one of those guys where seeing him in small doses would be sick, but if you had to live with him, he'd be annoying.
I remember when I went and saw him and what the deciding factor was Okay. So I went and saw in 2019, I think it was. Success Resources was brought down Gary Vaynerchuk.
Should go to a
convention center
event as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do they got one coming up?
They've always got them on, but mainly I think like Singapore and stuff.
Oh, not so much Australia.
No,
They haven't done it for many years.
No, I
I know
haven't
that.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Gary Vaynerchuk came down. That he was the headlining speaker.
I remember that.
There was about 5,000 people at convention center. Was it convention center? Yeah, it was. Anyway, wherever. So it was about 5,000 people in this room. And he came on, and this guy, Grant Cardone, never fucking heard of him. Never knew who he was. I think I literally went on Instagram that morning to see who Grant Cardone was. And I think he had.
Oh, you'd never heard of him at that point?
Never heard of him. Not once in my life. And it was him and Gary Vaynerchuk that were headlining the training.
Yeah, I remember that event.
Yeah. Oh, did you go too?
No, I didn't go. I was feeling I didn't go.
Yeah. So
was in
he was
Hills.
there. He was there. And so Gary, he was on before Gary. So Gary was the main show. And the funny thing is, Gary was shit. I didn't enjoy Gary. And I was a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan back then. That's why
I listened.
I went with my brother.
I listened. So Gary used to do the talks.
Yeah.
And he used to turn into a podcast.
Yes.
And I listened to
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I just thought it was a bit boring.
Just said the same question all the time.
Oh, it wasn't so much that. It's just even the questions he was answering were just shit questions. And he was just like, I knew how he was going to answer because I'd been pretty deep in his content back then. And who else? Kerwin Ray spoke that day, spoke really well. Graham Home spoke that day, spoke really well. I actually bought Graham Home's like 3-day webinar thing that he did at that time. And then GC came on, and GC was selling a bootcamp mastermind for 3 days in Sydney in the following 2 weeks after. And I didn't buy that when I was there. Right? But I left, like his talk impacted me. Like he was talking about people wanting more and doing more and being great and all that sort of shit. And he wasn't as eccentric as he is now, I don't think. He was a little bit more toned down back then. Anyway, I think he went to Hamilton Island or some shit for a holiday just before he did his boot camp at Sydney. And he did a video. And he was standing on the beach and he was just talking like a normal human being. And he was speaking about, what it took for him to be where he is now, how much work it took, how he wished he had mentors, how he wished he had advisors. And he goes, I just really want someone to come. Like he goes, this is what I'm doing. I'm holding a boot camp for everyone that wants to come down there, blah, blah, blah. And I remember watching that video and going, fuck me, I'm going to go. And I bought my ticket after the event to go to the 2-day boot camp.
Oh, so you went?
Yeah, I got a VIP ticket.
Did it?
Yeah, it was him the whole time. It was him and his team. 2-day boot camp. There was probably 300 people there. Probably most of the people had paid between $2,000 and $2,500. So I got a VIP ticket, which meant I sat towards the front. I think I paid $2,500, $3,000 to be at that boot camp. And then what? Oh, and at that, like I was writing, like I got a lot out of it. That was probably the first personal development type of course I'd ever done. I reckon was his, and I got a lot out of it. I even remember I bought his online university or some shit like that, paid $10,000 for it, and got the ticket to go to 10X GrowthCon and all that sort of shit. And that's so when I saw him on that video, I felt that was a more real Grant Cardone, if that makes sense, more than that persona he always puts on. And then when I saw him in real life at that event, it was a similar thing too. Like he was eccentric to a degree, but it was more just, no, this is what I do, this is what I'm about, this is how I
Oh, yeah. I say I wouldn't. I'm a fan.
I'm just saying, I don't think he would be as annoying as you think if it was a one-on-one thing. Like, I don't think he'd be like, that carrot, like you would have been doing these, yeah. Let's have dinner. It's like, how much fries do you want? I want to look at DX, 10 them out your fries. Don't fuck around. Give me all the sides. They're doing this shit. I don't feel that would be like that, but I think it would be an interesting conversation. You know what I mean? But then again, I kind of know his story too, because he's pretty open about it. So what else am I going to learn from him? Dana White would be a great conversation. Elon Musk.
Dana White would be a great conversation, dude.
Elon Musk would be kind of cool. I used to think The Rock would be in that conversation too.
Yeah. With The Rock, I just feel like he is The Rock.
Maybe you'll get a different version of that if it's one-on-one at dinner. You know what I mean? I don't know. I do admire Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think that would be really cool from a person that's achieved so many great things and become number one in so many different areas of his
Jordan
life.
Peterson.
Jordan Peterson, I just think I would feel dumb.
You reckon?
During the whole conversation.
I reckon, yeah. Again, he'd be like, well, it's a funny question. And then he'd go on some rant and then he'd just be like,
Yes. He's go, shut the fuck up. Yeah, we just said that. We just see that status. Jordan, ready when you are.
what's vibrating?
I think it's your phone, not mine. Mine's on the chair.
Oh, it is one.
There you go. It's a 16, isn't it? 16 Pro?
It is a 16.
That's why everyone knew it was ringing.
You think I play games? Anyway, so who would you have dinner with? You don't have to answer it, but listen, the reason why I brought it up was because, funnily enough, the person who's calling me right now, I asked them this question a long time ago and they said Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a weird answer. Like 10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then he come to become president and blah, blah, blah. And all I remember thinking was when he got elected was
Cool to have dinner with him.
someone wanted to have dinner with him.
Fuck, you'll have a Mac with them.
It was, hey,
You're gonna have a Mac with them.
a Mac?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
He only eats Mac.
Big Mac.
A Big Mac.
Oh, Big Macs. Just go, you don't have to word it. I just remember thinking, I have immense respect for this bloke because he's been able to achieve everything he wants.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, to the extent where he's like, fuck it, I'm going to go for president.
Yeah.
And he went and did it and won. And won. Do you know what I mean? Like, didn't just run like Kanye.
Yeah.
That would be a great person to have dinner with as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Because like, that would be a weird dinner. But it's a great question, yeah?
Yeah.
Another great question is,
Well, why don't we... Oh, sorry. What is it?
okay, what were you going to say?
I was saying, well, we should come to each other's dinners, then we get two people.
Well, it's cheating.
Is it?
It's cheating.
Well, you think...
You got to play by the
I think
rules.
I'm here not to bend the rules.
You got to play by the rules. Another great question is, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you live? And if you, listening to this right now, live in like Mount Waverley or something, and you're like, Mount Waverley. Stop playing so small. Think a little bit bigger. Because you saying that you live in your dream suburb either means that you're living your dream life or you've shrunk down your dreams.
Yeah.
And I dare say it's the latter.
Would you want to live anywhere else other than Australia?
Yes.
Yeah. Like live properly, like pack up your life and stay there.
Yeah, look. I would like to, at some point in my life, live somewhere else. Just at some point. I think there is a great learning experience that comes from it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And whether it's a different state, whether it's a different city, whether it's a different... I've moved suburbs from where I grew up. And that's been, in my opinion, the greatest thing ever. And I think moving cities... Would you come to Melbourne if you didn't live in Melbourne?
I think so.
Why? So would you, if your whole family was in Queensland and you'd sit there, or Sydney, and you'd be like, I'm moving to Melbourne.
Oh, moving to Melbourne.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh. So I don't know if everyone, I think I've got a deep connection with my life here. Do you know what I mean? I'd find it difficult to move away.
It's called comfort.
Yeah, well, it's comfort, but it's also a want. Like I don't have the desire to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'd miss out. Like it's saying, someone used to say, I think it was a guy on some podcast in America or something. It's like, because often people in America tend to move states. They don't always, I don't think they often stay there. Whether it's a university. Yeah, that's right. And they're like, well, how old are your parents? And they'll be like, my parents are, 70 years old, 60, 70 years old. And he goes, cool. How often do you go home to see them for Christmas or whatever? He goes, how often do you go each year? He goes, I might go once a year for Christmas. He goes, cool. So if your parents now live to 80, because that's 10 more times you're going to see your parents for the rest of your life. All right. And then so he goes, as soon as they put that into that perspective, like, holy fuck, just only 10. Right. And that's kind of how I feel if I was to move. Like I wouldn't want to, I'm not saying just specifically about my parents. I'm just thinking everything in that aspect. Like the whole life is here.
I will, there's two things with that. How often do you see your parents now?
Oh, I see my dad regularly because we work together.
I see you.
I'd say at least fortnightly.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty regularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Because a lot of people don't. I try and make an effort to go to my mum's once a week.
Yeah, I think if I was single and didn't have family, I'd be there regularly. I'd probably go past at least weekly.
Yeah, I try
Have dinner there on a weekend or something like that. And just hang.
That's what I do. I go and have dinner there usually once a week. I probably
things will probably come up that you don't go over for whatever reason. It might be away, or life gets in the way, whatever it might be.
I reckon I might miss 2 weeks in the year, or maybe 3. I go pretty regularly.
Yeah,
but there's people who make that argument who don't. And they're like, their parents live 20 minutes away, and they just rarely see them. I see them once.
Do you think 20 minutes drive's far?
Me?
Yeah, 20-minute, half-hour drive. You think that's far?
No,
I never have either. Like when someone says someone's off 30 minutes away, I'm like, oh, cool. So you're close.
Yeah, I don't mind.
A lot of people are like, what? 30 minutes? Fuck. It's not going to come that far.
I think there's
My Tesla will run out of battery.
level of meditation to try.
Yeah, I like it too.
Sense of meditation. But let me go back to what I was saying. So I agree with you in the sense of 100%. Like that is a factor. That is something you're giving up.
Yeah,
it is. That's without a doubt. You need to, you're going to trade that off. That's a trade-off.
Yeah.
But I also look at it like this. My grandpa left his whole family to come here, left everything. And now we get to live a pretty fucking sick life because he chose to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For whatever reason, yes, there was a whole bunch of other stuff, but he left everyone and he came here.
Yeah, my dad did the same thing.
Yeah. If they thought in the same way, he wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
And I'd be sitting in Lebanon.
Do you ever wonder that?
Not speaking English?
No, do you ever wonder what your life would be like if you lived in Lebanon? Because I haven't recently, but I used to think, fuck.
You wouldn't have anything
else. Exactly. I can imagine my dad never left. I would be a stereotypical Greek village guy.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he'd be
like my dad was from a small village on one of the larger islands, but I guarantee you I'd be there. I'd probably be in the family business. Yeah. I'd probably be
doing the same thing everyone else is doing. Thinking,
I'd be a smoker.
That's
100% I'd be a smoker.
How different would life be?
Yeah.
And who's to say that in some level you don't owe it to your offspring or your life? You know what I mean? Like imagine your son was going to be the next Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's a bit of a weird cunt. Not weird, like I don't know if I want it to be. That. What are you laughing at?
Nothing.
I did.
But
he's
do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, do you get what I'm saying? Yeah, he's very strange. But like he's
I love him.
He's also impacting the world.
I so admire what he's done.
Yeah.
I just think he's a bit of a strange cat.
Of course he's going to be a strange cat.
Yeah, I think you need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. There has to be a level of obsession there.
He's like, for everyone offended, anyone I've ever offended, I'm also taking us to Mars. I've set up satellites all around the world. I've made electric cars a thing. I've done this. I've done that. I've done that. Did you think I was going to be fucking normal? Exactly.
Yeah, every tech billionaire is weird. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't look even human.
Yeah, I'm convinced he's not.
And
dude, I'm like,
think
look at him properly. Have you looked at him? Just stare at him when he does stuff, and you're like, this could be a robot.
Yeah, I haven't looked at him in that depth.
But if they thought in the same way you're thinking now, I'm not trying to mess with your head.
No, I get it.
If they thought in the same way you're thinking, you would not be. I wouldn't be here. If my grandpa thought that way, I would be in Lebanon now, getting bombed.
Yeah,
like they're all, you know what I mean, war-torn country, and it's like.
So if you made that decision, and who knows? You're single now, right? You go and live in fucking Dubai, and you find the love of your life. And then she's a multi-billionaire, oil Mongol.
And they become a stay-at-home dad.
Pretty good.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
I can't visit you.
It's just a, I'll pay for the tickets.
I feel like you can live in the wall that they're building.
Are they building a wall?
Yeah, what's that? You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Donald Trump's wall?
No, it's bigger than that.
Oh, yeah. Great Wall of China.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Maybe it's in Saudi. It's that long mirror wall. The city. Yes, that's vertical city.
That's in Saudi.
Saudi, yeah. Sick.
Yeah. Have I started that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Dude, like, man, I hope we see it in our lifetime.
That's what I'm saying. That will be ready to go.
When? Like, next year?
Nah, like maybe 5 years?
No, I think it's going to take a while, man.
More than 5 years?
I think it's like a 50-year plan. Like, this thing's next level.
50 years.
Telling you.
Anyway,
Don't know. I'm telling you.
yeah, that's how.
Dubai's not even that old.
That's how. Who?
Dubai.
Yeah,
Dubai
it's
is not
not
that
that
old.
old. I reckon I have it done sooner. But that's
24.
that's how I think about it.
Mm.
That's how I think about it. And I think if I think that way, like, okay, so I'm just gonna stay here for the rest of my life. Like, that's it.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, you can go. Is this the place you'd choose if you could go? Probably not. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Would it be the top of the list? I think, don't get me wrong, I think Australia's a fucking great country, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's phenomenal. But I think if I had to pick a city in Australia, I would without a doubt go to Sydney. Without a doubt. From a business aspect, like if I was picking, I would not move from Melbourne to Sydney. Melbourne's big enough. But if I was coming to Australia fresh, I would go to Sydney.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would as well.
It's just like the big city.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting conversation, hey?
Yeah.
You know what else is an interesting question?
No, I don't. But I feel that you're going to tell me. What's he laughing for? What are you laughing for? See, look at all the so bad acting. How was I acting? I was being serious.
No. Yeah, sure.
But I feel like you're going to tell me what an interesting question is.
That's not a question. Everyone should make a solid
statement.
Solid statement. No, a really interesting question is, why haven't some people subscribed?
They probably listen.
Mm.
Like, we probably get a lot of people listening to this. But do they actually click the red button?
Why haven't they?
Yeah, I reckon. What?
The most recent, I was watching a clip, and it's like, click here. Yeah, we're like, click here, and they're like, something's gonna pop up here, and nothing does.
So you never got your hand to put a button up.
Nothing pops up. Shit, Lyle, get it together, man.
Come on, Lyle. What's going on, bro? That's broken my heart. Guys,
Don't do that.
Look, don't subscribe. It's not worth it.
That's
Not worth it. If you want mediocre, don't subscribe.
yeah. If that's what you're going for,
If that's what you're going for,
I mean, you're just trying to get in. If you want to have the same year next year,
yeah, don't subscribe.
you shouldn't subscribe.
Don't subscribe. If you want to just live not too
Straight
high,
line.
not too low, just hovering around that line, don't subscribe. This isn't for you. This isn't a place
Like that analogy, yeah.
Fuck, that was good enough, dude. All right, I'm going to use it in my training. That's it.
Over trademark.
Fuck me. Oh, shit. I'm going to use it. I've got a training coming up in 2 weeks. I'm dead set going to use it. I'm going to take a photo of it. You know what?
Just next time in the middle.
All right. This is what I was going to do.
1 sec, go.
You know how we got the flip chart? I'm going to rip it off and then bring it back to you and give it to you.
I'm gonna frame it.
You put it on your wall. So, yeah, if you want mediocre, if you just want to play it safe, if you're not the type of person that wants to achieve amazing shit, do not subscribe to this channel. But
If you do want to make more money next year,
if you do want to be the best version of yourself,
if you want to level up,
if you want to impact people in such a meaningful way that the generations will remember your name,
stop fucking around.
and subscribe to this channel.
Guys, thanks for listening.
Cannot wait till next week. But until then, I hope you have $1 million day.
Bye, everybody.